The experiences of Miss Lively and others were documented at the time they occurred, starting in May of 2023.
Blake Lively's legal war with Justin Baldoni is turning out to be a blockbuster-worthy scandal. What started as a friendly film partnership has spiraled into a courtroom brawl full of jaw-dropping accusations and alleged betrayals, casting Lively as a master manipulator and Baldoni as the innocent victim fighting to salvage his name. In this real-life drama, evidence is being wielded like a weapon, and reputations are dangling by a thread as the It Ends With Us co-stars battle it out in court. The opening scene was explosive, with Lively dropping accusations that sent shockwaves through Hollywood and upended both their worlds. The feud went public in the most dramatic way possible when Blake Lively filed a bombshell lawsuit, accusing Justin Baldoni of serious misconduct on their film set. She painted a picture of him as a schemer who plotted to ruin her image, sparking a media frenzy and setting the stage for a bitter fight for the truth. The accusations were beyond explosive. Lively claimed that Baldoni created a toxic atmosphere on set with disturbing behavior, and even spread vicious rumors to sabotage her reputation. The fallout for Baldoni was brutal. Just a day after Lively's accusations hit the headlines, his longtime talent agency cut ties with him without hesitation. This shocking move was reportedly influenced by Lively's damning complaint. The man who had been smiling beside Lively on the red carpet just months earlier was suddenly blacklisted, his career in tatters before a judge had even weighed in. Baldoni, blindsided by the accusations, fired back hard, denying every claim. His attorney, Brian Friedman, came out swinging, slamming Lively's lawsuit as a desperate stunt to repair her tarnished image. According to Baldoni's camp, Lively's allegations were false, outrageous, and intentionally salacious, setting the stage for an even uglier courtroom clash. Friedman argued that Lively's accusations were nothing but a calculated move to destroy Baldoni's reputation. He claimed that any chaos on set was mainly Lively's doing, accusing her of stirring up drama by threatening not to show up or promote the film, actions that, in Baldoni's eyes, sabotaged the movie's release. According to Baldoni's camp, Lively wasn't a victim at all, but an instigator, using false accusations to cover up her own mistakes and image issues. The fallout from Lively's bold move didn't stop at the courthouse doors. Her claims went so viral that even her husband, actor Ryan Reynolds, couldn't resist weighing in. In a jaw-dropping moment during an SNL special, Reynolds stood up and joked about Lively's accusations of emotional distress, leaving audiences stunned. The message was loud and clear. Blake Lively wasn't backing down. Instead, she was doubling down, turning their feud into a full-blown media circus and dragging Baldoni along for the ride. The public humiliation was a brutal hit for Baldoni. What started as a private workplace dispute had exploded into a vicious, very personal battle, with Lively pulling the strings behind the scenes. With his reputation on the line, Baldoni fought back the only way he could, in the courtroom, where the truth might finally. Baldoni came out swinging with a powerful countersuit, determined to expose what he saw as Lively's web of lies and to hold her accountable for the chaos she unleashed. As the legal battle heated up, hard evidence started to emerge, and it began to paint a very different picture from Lively's version of events. Baldoni's team went on the attack, revealing solid proof that seemed to poke holes in Lively's most shocking claims. One of the most jaw-dropping allegations in Lively's lawsuit described a disturbing incident during a scene with no dialogue. She accused Baldoni of leaning in, dragging his lips down her neck, and whispering in a creepy, predatory tone about how good she smelled, only to mock her afterward by saying he wasn't even attracted to her. But with new evidence coming to light, the question loomed. Was Lively telling the truth, or was this just another twist in an increasingly messy and scandalous showdown? But when Baldoni's camp dropped raw on-set footage of that exact moment, everything flipped upside down. The audio from the shoot revealed a completely different vibe. capturing a playful exchange between the two. Lively was heard joking, "I'm probably getting spray tan on you." To which Baldoni laughed and responded, "It smells good," in a light-hearted tone. That piece of evidence struck a serious blow to Lively's credibility, making her allegations look shaky at best. And that wasn't the only claim that started to crumble. One of Lively's most shocking accusations was that Baldoni had entered her private trailer uninvited while she was breastfeeding, implying a gross invasion of privacy. But Baldoni didn't just deny it. He came with receipts. He pulled out text messages showing that Lively herself had invited him over to rehearse lines, casually writing, "I'm just pumping in my trailer if you want to work out our lines." Baldoni's polite reply? He'd head over shortly. The so-called intruder, it seemed, had actually been a welcomed guest. These bombshell revelations went straight for the jugular of Lively's case. If her story about the trailer was exposed as a lie, what did that say about the rest of her claims? Each new piece of evidence was like a hammer to Lively's credibility, making it look more and more like Baldoni's accusations of distortion and deceit might actually hold water. Meanwhile, Blake Lively's legal team was scrambling to control the damage, desperately trying to steer the narrative before it spiraled completely out of control. Lively's legal team went into panic mode, begging the court for a sweeping protective order to cloak much of the case in secrecy. They argued that since this battle involved high-profile figures and accusations of serious misconduct, extra privacy was essential to prevent threats or witness tampering. But Baldoni's side wasn't buying it. Not for a second. To Justin, this move reeked of legal gamesmanship, a desperate ploy by Lively to hide the very evidence that could blow her story to pieces. His lawyers clapped back hard in their own court filing, accusing Lively of pushing for secrecy only because she was terrified of what might come to light if the public saw everything. They pointed out how Lively had no problem airing her accusations loudly and publicly when it suited her. So why the sudden rush to keep things hush-hush now? Baldoni's camp didn't hold back, bluntly accusing Lively of trying to bury crucial evidence to keep the truth from reaching the public, claiming it was all part of a bold strategy to protect her crumbling image. In Baldoni's eyes, this wasn't the move of an innocent victim, but of someone desperately trying to hide something big. The battle for control of the narrative was on, and neither side was backing down. Baldoni's lawsuit didn't pull any punches, claiming that Lively just couldn't handle her tarnished image for even a second. Instead of owning up to her mistakes, she needed a scapegoat, and that scapegoat was Baldoni. His attorneys couldn't help but point out the irony. Lively had dragged Baldoni's name through the mud in public without a care, even cracking jokes at his expense. But now, suddenly, she wanted the court to hide her actions from public view. The hypocrisy was hard to ignore. A major part of Lively's claims was her mention of supporting witnesses. She hinted that other women from the film's cast would back up her harassment allegations. But there was one big problem. In her amended complaint, those witnesses remained completely anonymous. Baldoni's lawyer, Brian Friedman, was quick to tear this apart, calling it a flimsy ploy. He slammed the so-called witness accounts as nothing more than hearsay from people who, in reality, didn't seem willing to step forward or publicly back her claims. Baldoni's camp didn't mince words. They flat out said Lively had provided zero actual evidence to support her explosive accusations. Without real proof, her claims were looking more and more like a desperate attempt to save face in a fight that was slipping out of her control. Baldoni's team wasn't holding back, bluntly pointing out that Lively had yet to present a single shred of solid evidence, despite launching a very public smear campaign against him. Instead, they argued, she was conveniently hiding behind anonymous sources and citing vague fears of others to dodge the need for real proof. To Baldoni, It looked like Lively's case was falling apart fast, her supposed witnesses scared into silence, her stories contradicted by recordings, and absolutely no hard evidence to back up the damage she'd done to his reputation. Fed up with what he saw as a web of lies and dirty legal tricks, Baldoni decided to strike back hard. In a shocking twist, he filed a massive countersuit, not just against Lively, but also dragging her husband and even her publicist into the legal brawl. The stakes had never been higher, and it was clear this battle was far from over. Baldoni's countersuit was a bombshell, a jaw-dropping $400 million lawsuit accusing Lively of defamation and civil extortion. But it was the extortion claim that really turned heads. Baldoni alleged that Lively, with her husband Ryan Reynolds in on the scheme, had tried to strong-arm him into making a false public confession. According to Baldoni's filing, when Lively's initial attempts to clean up her image flopped, she and Reynolds allegedly demanded that Baldoni and his studio issue a statement basically admitting fault, a demand Baldoni flat out refused. When Lively and Reynolds couldn't force Baldoni and Wayfarer Studios to read her scripted confession, she supposedly switched to Plan B, a full-blown smear campaign. The lawsuit claimed that Lively had been biding her time for months, plotting to publicly destroy Baldoni's reputation by accusing him of shocking misconduct. In other words, Baldoni was saying that Lively had tried to blackmail him into submission, and when he didn't play along, she went nuclear with a lawsuit packed with what he called fabricated accusations. If Baldoni's claims are true, it's a mind-blowing example of dirty tactics, using the threat of scandal as a weapon to break someone's will. Baldoni's team didn't mince words, insisting that there was zero proof he had ever tried to smear Lively at all. Instead, they argued that it was Lively who had cooked up a victim narrative to save her own image at Baldoni's expense. In this light, the whole case looked less like a fight for justice and more like a ruthless power play where the stakes were reputations, careers, and hundreds of millions of dollars. Blake Lively is starting to look less like a whistleblower and more like a ruthless antagonist willing to twist the truth for her own gain. As the legal war between Lively and Baldoni rages on, the stakes couldn't be higher. The real danger for Lively isn't just losing the lawsuit, it's the very real risk that her entire strategy could backfire spectacularly. If a court finds her allegations to be false, Lively won't just walk away with a bruised reputation. She could be staring down some serious legal consequences. Presenting fake evidence or lying under oath isn't just shady, it's straight-up criminal. Legal experts are already sounding the alarm, warning that even the smallest bit of fabricated evidence is enough to trigger felony charges. The law doesn't play when it comes to perjury or tampering with evidence. Lively has painted herself as the victim in this saga, fighting for justice against a powerful adversary. But if it turns out she cooked up evidence or lied about her claims, the law is going to come down hard, and all the Hollywood glamour in the world won't save her from that. The very protective order that Lively fought so hard for, supposedly to guard against threats, could end up looking like just another move to hide the truth. If it turns out that the real purpose was to bury damaging evidence, it might be seen as a blatant attempt to obstruct justice, and courts do not take kindly to anyone who tries to twist the legal process for their own gain. Any hint that Lively or her team might have engaged in manipulation or deceit could lead to some serious consequences. Meanwhile, for Justin Baldoni, this battle isn't just about winning a lawsuit, it's about clearing his name and making a statement. By hitting back with a countersuit for defamation and extortion, Baldoni is going on the offensive, not only denying Lively's claims, but aiming to prove they were cooked up with malicious intent. If Baldoni manages to pull this off, it would be a huge power move, showing that even A-list stars can't escape accountability when they use lies as weapons. His stance has been rock solid from the start. He insists that neither he nor his team did anything to actively damage Lively's reputation. According to Baldoni, They only spoke out to fight against the misinformation swirling around and to make sure the truth didn't get buried under the drama. That pointed accusation flipped the script, casting Lively as the powerful figure in this saga, someone who allegedly tried to wield her star power and influence to crush an innocent man under a mountain of scandal. In this version of events, Baldoni emerges almost like a hero, standing up to what he claims are false accusations, not just to save himself, but to stop a dangerous trend where lies can destroy lives and careers without consequences. But this feud isn't just about two celebrities tearing each other apart. The implications ripple far beyond that, shaking up Hollywood and raising some seriously uncomfortable questions. This case is exposing how personal grudges or PR battles can quickly spiral into full-scale legal warfare. It's making people wonder, what happens when a famous actress turns the court of public opinion into her own weapon? And if you're the target of that attack, what options do you really have to fight back? Baldoni's bold decision to drag everything into the public eye wasn't just a defensive move. It was a statement. By refusing to let things stay hidden, he's making it clear that he's ready to battle this out to the bitter end, no matter how messy it gets. By releasing tapes and sharing messages, Baldoni is making a bold play for transparency, a move designed to let the facts shine brighter than any Hollywood spin. If he manages to clear his name, it'll send a chilling warning across Tinseltown. Using false claims as a power move can backfire spectacularly on the accuser. On the flip side, Lively's initial decision to take her grievances straight to court was a powerful reminder that no amount of fame or status can shield anyone from facing serious accusations if there's real misconduct involved. In the end, though, this whole mess boils down to one thing: evidence. The drama has ripped open the curtain on the ugly, behind-the-scenes world of Hollywood power plays, with both sides accusing each other of sinister and ruthless tactics. But at the end of the day, the courtroom doesn't care about star power or social media hype. It cares about hard proof and the truth. As this legal saga barrels toward its final act, Blake Lively finds herself in a seriously tough spot. The very narrative she tried to control is starting to unravel around her, leaving everything she's built at risk of crumbling. Lively's attempt to expose an alleged abuser is starting to look more like the actions of an aggressor who might have cried wolf. If Baldoni's pile of evidence and testimony keeps holding up under scrutiny, this could all end with Lively's accusations being branded as outright lies, a massive fall from grace for a star who once tried to play the hero. If that happens, Baldoni won't just be clearing his own name. He'll be making a powerful statement for everyone who suffers when justice is twisted by false accusations. It would be a victory not just for him, but for anyone who's ever had their reputation dragged through the mud by lies. The court of public opinion might flip-flop with every new headline, but the court of law demands cold, hard accountability, something both Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni are finding out in real time. In the end, this explosive feud drives home a timeless truth. Lies might cause chaos for a while, but the truth has a way of rising to the top, no matter how powerful the forces trying to bury it. Those who try to bend justice with deception and dirty tactics do so at their own peril, and it's looking like this battle is far from over. The saga of Blake Lively versus Justin Baldoni is building to a dramatic climax, with a final verdict that will echo far beyond the courtroom. This showdown serves as a powerful reminder that even Hollywood's most untouchable stars can't escape the consequences when the masks of glamour and deception crumble, exposing who's the real villain and who's the true victim in the unforgiving light of truth.